Everybody's waiting for the next surprise. Skeleton Jack might catch you in the backpack. She make you jump out of your skin. This is Halloween. Everybody scream. Please make way for a very special time. Oh man, Jack is king of the pumpkin patch. Everyone hail to the pumpkin king. Now this is Halloween. This is Halloween. 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 That's our job,
But we're not mean.
in our town of Halloween.
In this town we call home. Everyone hail to the pumpkin song.
Oh, hi. Welcome. It's Artie of Artie's Corporate Fiction. How you guys doing today? We're just gonna take a quick. We're gonna, well, not, I don't know about quick. We're gonna take a look at the kind of like the recaps of the Sarah Boone trial. As you guys know, I have a day job, so I'm unable to follow this thing live. So I have to rely on the snippets and the featurettes to get myself caught up. I do obviously know that Sarah Boone has already testified, and we're gonna take a brief look at. I think Court TV has a good day one recap, and then I want to take a look at. I think there's other recaps of her testimony. One of the things that I did note is that yeah, this trial is actually moving pretty quickly. I think because I think because it's such an open and shut case that it shouldn't really take that long. You know what I mean? So,
For a limited time, you have the
yeah.
opportunity.
She had told me they were playing hide and seek, they had drank. She was trying to teach him a lesson, and that was that. She went upstairs, she went to sleep, she woke up, she doesn't know what happened.
What was she yelling about?
Something about choking or how he choked her. I really don't. That pretty much.
Yeah, I know. Open and shut.
What did you advise her to do?
I told her she needed to call 911 and that I would come over as soon as I could.
After countless delays, reschedulings, and attorneys, the suitcase murder trial against Sarah Boone finally gets underway. We're on the ground in Orlando, Florida, with a live report for you ahead of day number 2. And there are still so many unanswered questions surrounding singer Liam Payne's death. Will someone be held legally responsible? Also this hour, we're spotlighting the parenting of Leilani Simon as she stands trial accused. And in Florida, we've got Sarah Boone back in court for day 2 of the suitcase murder trial. That starts up at 9 a.m. We'll go there live together when it does. And that is our top story this morning, the murder trial of Sarah Boone. She's accused of zipping her boyfriend, George Torres, up in a suitcase and leaving him there to die. Court TV legal correspondent Kelly Craft is in Orlando with the very latest.
Good morning, Julie. Day 2 of testimony will be getting underway shortly here in Orlando for the Sarah Boone case. On Friday, the state called numerous witnesses and showed jurors a lot of evidence. The most compelling moment when the crime scene investigator pulled the suitcase from the cardboard box sitting in the courtroom. George Torres died inside that suitcase. Jurors stretched from their seats to get a view. Also shown to the jury, a bat. Also, wine bottles recovered from the scene. Sarah Boone listened closely as her ex-husband took the stand.
What did she tell you on the phone?
That George was dead, and
How does she stuff him in a suitcase? She didn't, Akira. The understanding is that they were playing a game of hide and seek. I think he put him either he put himself in the suitcase, or she convinced him to put him in the suitcase, and then she I guess took out any means of him being able to open it back up, and just left him in there.
if I would come over,
Did she say what happened to him?
I don't remember if she told me then on the phone or when I got there, but she told me they had been playing hide and seek and that she fell asleep.
What did you advise her to do?
I told her she needed to call 911 and that I would come over as soon as I could.
The state
That's
told
right,
jurors
playing
Sarah
hide and
Boone
seek.
left George Torres in the suitcase to die because she felt he deserved it. Defense counsel told jurors Sarah Boone loved George and not to rush to judgment. And Julie, Sarah Boone will be testifying in this case, and that's what her defense counsel told jurors during his opening statement. But we're going to have to wait until the state is finished presenting its case. Proceedings get underway at 9 a.m. Eastern. In Orlando, Kelly Craft. Julie, back to you.
All right, our thanks to Kelly Craft for that early update. Now let me bring in my legal analyst guest, a retired criminal defense attorney, famously represented Jodi Arias and saved her life. Kirk Nurmi on the show this morning. Good morning to you, Kirk. Lots to talk about with Sarah Boone here. My goodness. Let me just start with your...
Wait, this is a defense attorney for Jodi Arias?
Impressions of day number one. I know you were watching things, looking at it all objectively. How were you feeling when you walked away at the end of the court day?
Well, look, this is just more fuel to the fire. I mean, we saw, my analyst in this case has always been just play the tape. And certainly we're getting some evidence that extends outside the tape. We're seeing her inconsistent statements, all those sort of things that are going to set her up. And I know, one thing I can glean about Sarah Boone, we saw her flyer and everything else. We know, as Kelly reported, she's going to take the stand. I think she fancies herself a celebrity, she sees herself as a victim. She's going to be a champion. She's going to get up on that stand.
Yeah, well, that's kind of obvious.
And tout herself as such. But what we're seeing here is not only the tape stand in contradiction to her personal beliefs about herself, but also some of the evidence we're seeing, the contradictions, the lies, etc., that she's going to have to answer for. And I tell you, Julie, she's not going to have an answer.
Right. Oh, I think you're absolutely right, my friend. You know better than anybody, really, what it's like to have a difficult client who won't listen to your sound advice, who wants to boss the world around. Tell us kind of what it's like representing someone like Sarah Boone.
Yeah, Julie, it makes me think of the interview Court TV did a few weeks ago with a couple of her prior attorneys, or one of the 8 or 9 that preceded her current counsel, and they talk about it getting at every fiber of your being. And I understand that completely. I mean, this is something that I dealt with for 5.5 years, right? And I was trying to run away from the fire, and her current counsel ran towards it, and I bet he's starting to feel some of those things. I mean, I saw your opening statement. We've all been looking at...
Yes, she's not little, but she's a walking dumpster fire. I feel like throughout this entire endeavor, she's treated this like a game.
Her laughing at her motion for snacks, but it's that kind of thing, right? You volunteer, you're her counsel, you're working on important legal issues, so you give her adequate representation, and you find yourself arguing over snacks. And it's that kind of thing that is just belittling and what have you. And so I can see that this man is probably going to regret that he ran towards that fire, and is just going to be so happy when this trial is over. But we all should be grateful that he did, because this minimizes the chances that her conviction will be overturned on appeal.
Oh, such an excellent point. Kirk, thank you for that. I have a clip I want to play for you now. One of Sarah Boone's former neighbors took the stand, as you know, on Friday. Talked about hearing the very, very loud noises the night that George Torres died.
What about that evening sticks out to you?
That sticks out to me from that night was literally just there was a very, very loud noise that I heard that was loud and powerful enough to shake my bedroom wall. And I remember that because I was sitting on my bed on FaceTime with my girlfriend at the time, and I literally felt the wall shake, and it stopped me mid-conversation. And she even asked me through the computer, like, what was that? And I was like, I have no idea.
Kirk, one thing that stood out to me, it sounds like this incident was a lot more violent than we first thought it was, right? We just heard about this game of hide and go seek, zipping him up in the suitcase, leaving him there to die. Now, so many questions. Questions about the suitcase possibly going down the stairs. Questions about her taking a baseball bat to the suitcase, hitting his hands and his body potentially. What are your thoughts on the impact that a neighbor like this has on the jury?
I think this is huge, not only on the jury. I think the tape and her mocking him is enough for the jury. But we think about any contravening arguments that they could have about, she didn't have a duty to rescue him, things of that nature, because we see the booze, we see the baseball bat, right? I mean, that's huge. And the possibility that Mr. Torres was flung down the stairs, that makes her not just a passive person who failed to assist, but an aggressor, which is what we see here. And this is going to, we're seeing that bat now. This is going to stand in direct contradiction to any claim of self-defense through battered women syndrome, because we see here, if anyone's doing the battering, it's Sarah Boone.
Boom. Drop the mic. Kirk Nurmi, you said it so well right there. And we have some corroboration with this. The maintenance supervisor who formerly used to work at that building said something really interesting on the cross. Let's take a listen to what he said about Sarah Boone wanting to teach George Torres a lesson.
Tia told me they were playing hide and seek. They had drank. She was trying to teach him a lesson, and that was that. She went upstairs. She went to sleep. She woke up. She doesn't know what happened.
Ooh, Kirk, does this further chip away at her claims of battered spouse syndrome?
I don't know. I don't know where my
You
research
bet.
is
I
at.
mean, it makes Mr. Torres the victim of her domestic violence rather than the claim she's trying to make that she is in fact the victim. I mean, teaching him a lesson, those kind of languages, that's very aggressive. That's very, shall we say, premeditated, Julie? So yeah, I mean, this just wraps up a bow on this case more and more, and you know, is more and more convinced that she is going to be found guilty. But what is really going to be interesting is what she has to say for herself, and I'm waiting for that to play out on court TV.
Oh, most definitely. Kirk Nurmi, so glad we have you on the program this morning. Stand by for more questions, kindly, please. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, here's what's still to come on opening statements.
Okay, that's a nice recap there, and I think it's
more and more, and
that's sufficient. I think it's what they don't have they don't have a recap of her testimony, but they do have her testimony in one video. So let's go here.
State, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury? All right, thank you. Y'all can be seated. Members of the jury, after seated and comfortable, if you could raise your hands to confirm that you complied with the court's instructions during the break. Record reflect all hands have been raised. With that, state has rested. The defense is going to put on a case. Defense, Mr. Owens, you can call your first witness.
The defense would call Sarah Boone.
In other words, 2 days. The prosecution is just 2 days was all it took for the state. Play the testimony of the crime scene investigator. Ugh, I don't want to. Oh, here we go.
You also had an occasion to collect the suitcase as well in this case.
Yes, I did.
Prior to placing the suitcase into evidence, did you process it?
I took measurements of the suitcase.
What are the measurements of the suitcase?
It was 28 inches in length, 20 inches wide, and 8 7/8 inches deep.
I do not plan on playing like the video that she took. I've seen it far too many times. I don't care to see it again.
Your Honor, this time may the witness step down from the stand and approach the clerk's area.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm showing you what's been marked for identification as states A. Tell me, do you recognize this item?
Yes, I do.
Tell us, what is this item?
This is the suitcase I collected from the living room.
And how is it that you know that this is the suitcase you collected from the living room?
It has the Orange County Sheriff's Office evidence label that I labeled with the item description. It also contains my name and the agency case number, and my initials are also on the evidence tape.
Ma'am, at this time, could you open States A and look at the contents of it to yourself?
Yes.
I'm just playing at 1.25.
What is inside of States A?
This is the suitcase I collected from the living room.
And does it appear to be in the same or substantially the same condition as the time that you collected it and placed it into evidence?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to move what's been marked for identification as States A into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection.
What was pre-marked as A will be received into evidence without objection as States 11.
And Your Honor, at this time, I'd ask for permission to publish States A to the jury.
You may.
So obviously, I feel like unless they could make some sort of chain of custody argument, there's no way that the defense could possibly object to the suitcase being presented as evidence. Yeah.
Can you open the inside of it?
And that's a carry-on. That is a carry-on, man. God, just thinking about it, it's just I know he was like 5'2", 110, so he was a small dude, but still.
How easy is it to operate the zipper that closes the suitcase?
It was a little difficult.
I have no additional questions at this time.
Oh, Matt, what a powerful moment.
All right, let's go to her testimony.
I do.
All right, ma'am, you could take a seat. And if you could, state and spell your name for the record for us.
Sarah Boone, 101077.
And could you spell your name?
SARAHBOONE.
All right, thank you very much. Sir, you may inquire.
Ms. Boone, would you please tell the jury where you were born and raised?
Atlanta, Georgia.
You were born in Atlanta?
I was born in Atlanta.
And how long did you stay in Atlanta before you moved here to Florida?
I was 3 years old, 3 or 4.
Okay. And from that time, y'all moved, you and your family, your mother and father, moved to Orlando?
And my grandparents.
Okay. Y'all all moved down from Atlanta down to Orlando?
Yes, and my 2 brothers.
Okay. And were you raised here essentially from that time on?
Yes.
And you resided here in Orange County, Florida that entire time?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not the small voice. It's she's not speaking into the mic.
And where did you go to high school here locally?
I did.
Where did you go to high school?
Edgewater.
Okay. And tell the jury, how old were you when you graduated?
I was 18 years old.
Now, I know you lost your mother and father.
Overruled.
I know you lost your mother and father in your teens and in your 20s. Is that true?
I lost my grandfather when I was a sophomore in high school, and I lost my father when I was a senior. And then my mother passed away a few years after that, and then my grandmother passed away after my mother died.
All right, so you were in your 20s when all that was going on?
Yes.
Okay. And then at some point in your 20s, you met Brian Boone?
I did, yes.
All right. And how long did y'all date before you married?
A good handful of years. I helped my family with paying mortgage and bills for the house since my father had passed away and my grandfather, so.
So you worked outside the home?
I did.
Okay. Can you tell the jury when you said you and Brian Boone dated for a while? Do you remember when y'all married?
I do.
Could you tell the jury when y'all were married?
The year?
Yeah.
You
remember the date?
It happened to be, yes, that after my mother passed away, that he had waited to ask me to marry him because he knew it would be,
Sustained.
Just answer the question if you can, Ms. Boone. Are you a little bit nervous?
a little bit.
Okay. Well, just tell the jury if you remember the date that you and Brian
Got it. Try and humanize her.
were married.
August 21st, 2004.
Okay. And had y'all lived with each other for a short time before that?
Short time.
Yes. Okay. After you married, how long was it before y'all had any children?
Gosh, 6 years?
Okay. And y'all have one son.
Yes.
What's his name?
Lucas.
And how old is Lucas now?
Lucas will be 14 years old on the 28th.
28th of this month?
Yes.
Okay. So you and Brian were married, and y'all lived in Orange County. How long were y'all married?
For 13 years.
All right, and y'all divorced?
Yes.
And as part of the divorce, were y'all to share custody of your son?
Yes.
And so y'all would split days, would that be fair to say?
Yes.
At some time after you and Brian split up, did you meet George Torres?
Yes.
All right, could you tell the jury how you met George Torres?
I met George when I decided to buck up, I guess, and was tired of trying to patch things up with my ex-husband. And I decided to go one day for a walk across the street and go have a beer by myself and sit and people watch just to get out of my house and a change of scenery.
All right, now is this your apartment?
No, this is the marital home,
Okay. Where is that marital home?
Winter Park.
You're no longer living in that marital home?
No.
Who lives in the marital home?
No, and it has been sold.
Okay. So you met George Torres before you got the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. And you met him at a bar across the street from the marital home?
Yes, we had a mutual friend there.
Were you introduced?
Yes.
All right. How did you and George get along when y'all first met?
Very well. It was strange how quickly we hit things off and had so much in common. And
Hold on, I guess maybe they'll answer this question into it, but was she already? I missed. Was she already divorced before she met them? It sounds like she was still living with the husband. Were they divorced before or after?
I never thought that he would be interested in someone like me, and I just couldn't believe that he was actually interested in me and said a lot of nice things. And 1 hour ended up being 4 hours from when we had first met, and then we would always have something to talk about.
Why couldn't you believe that he would be interested in you?
He was very handsome. He was very funny. He was smart, and I would show up in workout clothes and disheveled hair, and I guess I kind of felt broken from being in the process of the divorce that he knew about. But then one of the things that we could relate also was the fact that he was here in Florida because he had just been divorced from his second wife. So that was another topic that he and I could compare notes on.
So eventually, the divorce was settled. Did you get your own place?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that after at first you lived in your parents' home, correct?
Yes, until I was married.
And then you moved directly in with Brian?
Yes.
And then y'all lived in the marital home, correct?
Yes.
And then you got this apartment?
Yes.
So that was the first time in your life that you actually had your own place?
Yes.
And what was the address?
4748 France Court, apartment number 3.
And what city is that in?
It's in Winter Park.
How far is that from here?
20 minutes?
Okay. So you got that apartment, and initially, were you by yourself?
No.
All right, tell the jury.
In the almost year, about 10 months of separation from Brian, my ex-husband, that is the time when I met George. And my ex-husband was trying to buy me out or force me out of our marital home, and I needed to find somewhere to live. And
So did you and George agree to rent the apartment?
yes, I needed extra income. We could not afford it, just on my own.
You were receiving some income from the marriage settlement, were you not?
Yes.
So you did have consistent monthly income coming in from the marriage settlement,
For the most part, yes.
but you needed more to live.
Yes, to pay the bills and for rent.
So did you and George have some agreement?
We did.
All right, what was the agreement?
The agreement was that if I decided for he and I to live with one another, because it would be under my name, that he would help with the monthly bills and on a regular basis where it wouldn't be something that I would have to argue with him about. It would just be an automatic, make sure that everything's paid first, and then from there, hopefully have some fun with it.
Okay. So I understand from that point on, would it be fair to say that y'all saw each other on and off for about the next 3.5 years?
No, I would consider us a couple. At some point, he asked me to marry him.
Okay. But y'all did have times where he left and went to live with his parents?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
And there were times where there was an understanding that y'all were going to break up?
multiple times.
Okay. All right, so, again, on again, off again.
Yes, this was actually before we had our apartment. That was, I guess, our dating phase.
Okay. So y'all were together for 3.5 years, is that fair?
Yes.
And y'all had actually agreed to marry?
He had asked me, yes, a couple of times to marry him, and one time I agreed to yes.
Okay. Now, I want to get directly to the date of this event so that the jury can hear your testimony. All right, so tell us, I believe the date is February the 23rd of 2020. Explain to the jury that whole day, from the time y'all got up, the whole thing.
Oh.
Approach.
Approaching. Oh, I think they're also gonna. There we go. Hopefully we'll get a more accurate mic.
Objections over.
Instead of
Objections overruled for now.
Now, Ms. Boone, let's just, instead of one long speech, let me break you up over the course of the day. So, do you remember the date of February 23rd, 2020?
Yes,
Do you remember getting up?
yes.
All right, just tell the jury about
And
that
it
morning.
does
What y'all
nothing.
did that morning. What you and George spent the night together at the apartment.
Yes, at that point, he was living there.
Yes. So y'all slept in the bed together upstairs, February. So you would have gotten up. Y'all would have gotten up that morning, February 23rd of 2020.
Yes.
All right. Tell the jury what happened when y'all got up.
He was already downstairs, and I went downstairs, and he wanted to start the day off by drinking because it was a day off from his job. And I talked him into cleaning and tidying up the house for a sense of accomplishment. So that is what we did for however long that it took. So we did tidy up the house and got everything in order, and it was kind of a reward, I guess, to be able to sit and enjoy ourselves and sit on the back porch.
All right. What do you mean by cleaning up the house? What did y'all do?
We swept and mopped. We folded some of the laundry.
There
I
we
know
go.
that we did the dishes, emptied the dishwasher, just general run-of-the-mill tidying up.
And did you have your son coming the next day?
Yes, that was one of the reasons why we were able to do that.
What was the arrangement you had in terms of the next day would have been your day to pick up your son from school?
Yes.
What time would you pick Lucas up from school the next day?
I believe his school ended at 3 o'clock.
Okay. So you would have been responsible to pick him up, and he would be spending the night with you that night?
Yes.
So you wanted to have the house nice and clean?
Yes.
How many bedrooms are in the home?
2.
And you and George had one bedroom?
Yes.
And who had the other?
Lucas.
All right. Is that exclusively his bedroom?
Yes.
All right. So how long would it have taken y'all that morning to clean?
I don't really remember what time we woke up, but maybe a good 2, maybe 3 hours.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that you and George both smoked cigarettes?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that you and George both drink alcohol?
Yes.
All right. So at some point, y'all finished your chores, right? And then y'all were going to enjoy the day.
Yes.
All right. What was the plan?
It was just kind of, we've got the day to ourselves. Let's just kind of relax and go with the flow.
Did y'all make a decision that y'all were going to start drinking?
Yes, we had a half of a bottle that was already in the refrigerator, and I did not want to go out afterwards. I, again, had Lucas coming the next day, so we went over to Publix to purchase another bottle of wine so we could not have to go out later on that evening.
Now, you were here in court when the state played the video of you two and the Publix purchasing the bottle of wine?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to here with the jury right now?
Yes,
Okay. And that was around noonish?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Had y'all started drinking the leftover bottle before going to the Publix?
No.
Okay. So, y'all bought a bottle of wine?
Yes,
All right. And how did y'all get to Publix?
my car,
How far is Publix from your apartment?
5 minutes.
How would you get there from your apartment?
What do you mean?
Did you have to go across any major highways, or is it right there?
You just come out of our apartment complex and you do a little U-turn and then you come up and it's right in that complex.
Okay. But it's easier to drive than to walk?
Yes,
Okay. I know at sometimes y'all would simply need cigarettes and it was in walking distance. Can you tell the jury about that?
yes. There was a AutoZone convenience store with, in the same, I guess, parking lot of our townhome, our complex, and it was just a straight shot from our apartment to a back gate, and you could get right into the convenience store from right there.
Okay. But y'all went over to get that bottle of wine around noonish, and how did you took your car?
Yes.
Did George have a vehicle?
He did not.
And how did you pay for the wine?
With my debit card.
And then y'all came back and started drinking?
Yes.
Okay, tell us what you did when you got back from the Publix.
Just went on the back porch where we usually spend our time because we're able to smoke cigarettes outside as opposed to inside. And
Is cigarette smoking not allowed indoors?
it is not.
Okay. Do you have pets?
Yes, I do.
What did you?
Yeah, I don't know. I was talking to her yesterday about it, and I don't get it. I don't like a lot of this doesn't really seem relevant, but relevant. But I don't know why the prosecution is letting this go. I mean, I guess the prosecution feels like there's no need to object because they feel like it's not like it's going to really affect anything. I don't know.
Did you have pets?
I did, yes.
Okay. Were they with y'all there that day?
Yes, my dogs were with me all the time when I was there.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 2.
And just what are their names?
Yeah, thank you for
Penny
the
and
super
Tess.
sticker.
And what is the breed?
They are red Boston Terriers.
And are they both disabled?
Yes, Penny is blind and Kef is deaf.
Becca, that's my only guess is that they're trying to humanize her by setting up their day-to-day for kids or pets.
So when y'all went out to smoke on the back porch and drink, I assume, as well, correct?
Yes.
Did y'all take the dogs out?
Oh,
Thank you,
yes.
Akira, for the 42 months.
Is there a place for them to do their business out there?
Yes, I extended our back porch for them to have a little bit of area as opposed to going from a large backyard from my marital home to our little townhome. And they would come out there and do their business, and I would open the gate and then walk them in the back part of our apartment.
So you and George were just going to enjoy the day together?
Correct.
Is it fair to say y'all don't have a lot of money?
Yes.
And so y'all were going to do something there in the home? Y'all weren't going out for dinner or?
Yes, we primarily, I would consider us homebodies as opposed to going out and partying and doing this and that.
Okay. And how long do you think y'all were out that afternoon outside?
A few hours.
All right. Could you tell the jury what y'all did during that time?
We have a dartboard that's out there, and
Ooh,
we
darts.
just had drinks, and we're just really enjoying each other's company and talking about, things upcoming. We both were looking for a job, and
Liz, thank
just
you for the
kind
8
of,
months.
I guess encouraging and supporting and planning. And
Well, now you said he had a job.
Uh-huh.
Is he looking for a job, a second job?
no, the job that he had was very unstable, and at that,
So he was looking for something new.
yes, at that time, yes.
Okay. And so during that 2 or 3 hours, would it be fair to say that y'all drank the bottle?
Yes,
Okay. So would it be fair to say that y'all were feeling the effects of the alcohol?
yes,
Okay. At some point, who made the decision to come in?
I did.
Okay. Why did you want to come in?
I felt that George needed a change of scenery.
Okay. So y'all came in, and then did y'all do anything else before he left again? Were y'all doing anything? I know y'all did some arts and crafts. What did y'all do? At some point, he went to get another bottle at Publix.
Yes, after, I believe it was
Arts and
after
crafts.
it was right before I believe that we had gone inside. Because he called his daughters. I was trying to encourage him to call his family.
Okay. Now, where are his daughters?
His 2 daughters are located in Pennsylvania,
And what are their names?
Anna and Destiny.
And how old are they?
I believe that
girl's
Anna is
name.
in her 30s, and Destiny may be in her early 20s.
All right. Does he have any more children?
Yes, he has a son.
And what is his son?
He is in Pennsylvania also.
So part of that afternoon is y'all came in to call relatives, call family.
No, I had him call outside, just trying to, I guess, boost the mood. And the first daughter didn't answer, and I don't remember the reason I didn't speak to the second one. I believe if he did, it was just for a moment.
All right, now whose phone were y'all using?
My phone.
All right. And is that common for y'all to use that, for y'all to share that phone?
It was because George said that he didn't have a phone, so it would either be lost or given to him by his mother, so I didn't know he had a cell phone, so we would use my phone.
So it was primarily your phone?
Yes.
Okay. And
Okay.
you took a lot of
I'm not sure
photographs
where or what that
were on that
happens.
phone?
Yes.
Videotapes?
Yes.
Text messages?
Yes.
Phone call?
He and I both on the phone calls.
So he would use it as well?
Yes.
And that phone, is that the one that was seized in this case?
Yes.
All right, so y'all called his daughters, and then during that phone call period, did you also call his brother?
Yes.
Okay, and which brother was that?
John.
All right, now, how many brothers and sisters does George have?
I'm going to list them if that's okay.
Okay.
It's John, Pharrell, Isaac, Mo.
Okay. Oh my God.
And
Philadelphia?
yes.
Okay. So you called the girls, then you called, or George called his brother.
Yes.
Was that conversation that long?
No, it's not.
And then after that phone call, were y'all inside by this time?
Yes, at this point, I believe that it was a good time to get a change of scenery. So I thought George would be better off inside, and frankly, I didn't want to be outside any longer either.
Okay. So just to get an idea, about this time is when he went to get the second bottle, or did y'all stay inside for a while before he left?
No, from what I recall, I thought the day was over, and it was going to be, get ready for the evening, for the day, what do you want for dinner, do you have an extra load of laundry that you need to throw in, kind of thing, and that was my understanding, and
This was about 5-ish or something?
I don't remember the time.
Okay. At some point during that time period, did George go to Publix again?
Yes, I thought he was going to be walking to the convenience store, but apparently, when he returned, he had gone across the street to the convenience store, walking. Yes.
So he comes back with the other bottle of wine, and did he want you to drink with him?
It was expected, yes.
Yes. And that movie, music, just kind of tell the jury what you remember. I know it's obviously been a while, but
It was kind of a regular thing where I would always try to come up with entertaining activities for George, and
God damn it!
Janelle just donated 100. They said thanks for covering this during your busy day.
Thank you, Janelle, for the $100 tip. Much appreciated. Oh my God, that gave me a heart attack.
I bought a puzzle. We started off at one point doing a smaller puzzle, and then we did that very quickly, so then I purchased a larger puzzle, and I believe it was 1,000 pieces. So I thought to get his mind off of things and to focus on something, it would be smart for us to do the puzzle. So for however long that took, we finished the puzzle. So that was one.
Every piece was finished, or was it?
Every piece was finished. It was strange that we couldn't find one piece, and we thought it was funny that it was in the perfect place on there. But yes, every one but one piece.
All right, after the puzzle, what did y'all do?
I decided to continue to maintain and focus him, and I have a bunch of paints that I used of my son's that his grandmother bought him. It's a very big art wooden box, and it's got pastels, pencils, paint, any kind of whatever. And he and I were very much into art, and with this resource, it got him very interested in being more creative.
How long have you been into art?
Ever since I can remember. As a child,
You like to draw?
I like to do anything artistic.
And I know, we saw some of the pictures of your apartment, but it looks like there was pictures and artwork up. Is that all your work and George's work?
The majority of it, yes, are belongings from my home, and then also some of George's, yes, on the wall.
Was he pretty good at art as well?
Yes,
All right, so you both enjoyed doing that.
very much.
So y'all got out Lucas's art set. What did y'all do with that?
We were just, I guess, doodling, whatever. I would always tell him that everything that you make is a masterpiece. So
Oh God.
just let loose and just let it go. And we would just paint and, paint and drink, yes, and listen to music sometimes, and yes.
Now, with the dogs, did y'all get the dogs involved?
Oh, yes, my dogs follow me everywhere, yes.
Was there some dancing going on with the dogs?
Yes, after we had completed the puzzle and
In fairness, this is all relevant because this is the night of the incident. So.
guess, were painted out, I thought that it might be a good point for us to maybe listen to some music. And the music that George listens to is it's very fractious to me, and it was definitely not going to lighten the mood. So we ended up finding some channel on the radio, and he was feeling it. And then we ended up, my one dog gets very active and was dancing with us, and we were just having a good time listening to music.
And I guess it's getting pretty late in the evening.
Yes.
Anything else I've missed?
I don't believe so.
All right. So tell us where y'all ended up before you started the game of hide and seek.
We were there. I couldn't think of anything else possibly that I had to continue entertainment. But I remember sitting at the end of the couch and him sitting in one of my son's chairs that was in the living room and just kind of doing this. Like, what are we going to do now? Like, I very much would like to go to sleep.
Had y'all finished off that bottle that he had bought?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Bless you.
Would it be fair to say that as the day wore on, the more y'all consumed?
Yes.
All right. And would it be fair to say that as the day wore on, the more you consumed, the more effects you felt from the alcohol?
Of course, yes.
Both of them?
Yes.
Okay. So
Obviously.
you would agree, would you not, that at the time y'all were trying to figure out something to do and you put your head on the couch, that would it be fair to say that y'all were intoxicated?
Yes.
Tell the jury what happened.
At one point, I guess he knew that I couldn't come up with anything else, tapped me on my knee and said, "You're it." So from there, I ran up the stairs and hid into our shower, just waiting for him to find me so we could hopefully go to sleep soon at some point. And
Your shower, is it a tub or just a walk-in?
it's a tub, but it's in the master bedroom, and you have to go all the way upstairs, you have to go in the bedroom, and then you have to go into the bathroom part, and then there's the shower part.
So did you lay down in the tub?
At one point, yes, I was.
So you were hiding?
I was trying,
Okay. And did you believe that he was going to come try to find you?
yes,
Did you wait?
yes, for quite some time.
All right, then what did you decide to do?
That I decided that I need to go to sleep. I'm picking my son up the next day, and we need to start wrapping up the evening. And I went downstairs to find where he was.
And what, I think the jury has seen pictures of your, would you call it an apartment or
It's considered a townhome.
a townhome? So you walk down the stairs, right?
Mhm.
And at the bottom of the stairs is a bookshelf here?
Yes, at the very end of it, yes.
Okay. So you walk down the stairs and you turn and look in the living room. What did you see?
I don't even think I made it all the way down the stairwell because I was just looking for him as soon as I could to hopefully go upstairs as soon as we could. And I looked over and I saw him settling himself in the suitcase.
Yeah, all this is after the jury has already seen the suitcase videos. So can't wait to hear how she spins this.
Tell us about the suitcase. How long, is it an older suitcase?
Yes.
Whose suitcase was it?
This is George's suitcase.
All right, and did he use it for traveling back and forth to Philly?
Yes, I had recently taken him on a trip to go see his children in Pennsylvania, who he hasn't seen in years, and we took that with us. And because of how dilapidated it was, how broken it was, in the end, after that trip, we decided that we would donate it.
All right, and I understand y'all kept the suitcase upstairs.
Yes,
How long did y'all keep it upstairs?
since we had moved in.
Is there a closet up there you kept it in?
Yes, it was in the master closet, the master bedroom closet, all the way in the back because of the size of it, and there was nowhere to put it, so it's all the way in the back.
So when did y'all decide to move it down from upstairs to downstairs? Was it that day or sometime earlier?
No, it was maybe a week or so prior.
Okay. And so what, y'all were gonna donate that to Goodwill, or?
Yes, we were going to do, I guess, a spring cleaning.
No, this part is irrelevant.
Anyone who has children understands that they grow quickly, and there was a lot of clothes that I needed to go through of my son's, and then also from George and I moving in and just kind of putting everything in there, at one point where we just needed to actually go through it and organize it and get things more in order.
So is that the reason it was downstairs? You were gonna donate it and a bunch of things that you were gonna put inside?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So it'd been down there a week, so it was already down there?
Yes, George brought it down.
Okay. So you said that you got down there, you're looking for him, you see him settling into the suitcase.
Yes.
What did you do?
In my head, I said, oh man, were obviously not going to be going to sleep anytime soon. And I walked
Why?
over, and he was trying to get himself flat, so I couldn't tell that he was in there. And then,
Now, let me stop you there. The suitcase, is it the suitcase over here in the
yes,
box? You've seen it? You saw it?
yes,
It's a pretty big suitcase.
yes.
How big is George?
Did he say it was a pretty big
George
suitcase?
was my height. And
How tall are you?
I'm 5'3".
Okay. And how much did George weigh?
I thought it was 100 pounds.
Okay. And how much did you weigh?
I was 98 pounds.
All right. Do you agree you put on some weight?
Since I've been incarcerated, yes.
Well, at the time, though, y'all were pretty skinny.
Yes,
So from the pictures, it looks like y'all were both pretty thin.
yes,
All right. So because of his thinness, is that how? And he's a small man.
yes,
Okay. So he was able to get in the suitcase on his own.
yes.
Did he willingly get in a suitcase?
He was already in there.
Okay. When you got to him, did he see you?
Yes.
All right. Tell us what happened.
I mean, I zipped him up. We thought it was funny, and we're joking about how he was, I guess, small enough to fit inside of the suitcase.
All right. So what happened then?
From there, it was just, we were laughing about it, and it was just strange that he was small enough to fit in there, and then I kind of moved it around a little bit with him in the suitcase still. It was still funny that he was still in the suitcase. Just, I think he and I were just kind of, couldn't believe that he could fit in the suitcase.
Did you eventually close the top?
Yes, in order for, well, the top was already closed. As he was settling himself in there, that's how I knew he was in there, was because the top was kind of flopping a little bit.
So he had got in there to hide, and he pulled the top.
Yes.
On top of it, but you could tell he was in there.
Yes,
You saw him right away.
yes,
All right. So at some point, did you zip him up?
yes.
And what was he saying or doing when you were zipping him up?
We just thought it was funny.
Were you both laughing?
Yes.
And,
Yeah, I bet. Even if I were to believe her at this point, the videos clearly show at some point he's like, okay, the joke's over. You can let me out now.
So you zipped him up. Were y'all still laughing once you zipped him up?
Yes.
Tell the jury what happened then.
From there, I moved the suitcase around a couple of times, just kind of on the wheels, and moved it around. And at that point, it was funny. We were joking and laughing about it.
All right, now eventually, did you go sit down on the couch and get your phone?
Yes.
Did I miss something?
Well, the suitcase had, for me moving it around, was flopped over. So while it was like that, I thought at that point I had a moment to, I guess, take the time to talk to him while I guess he was not able to get out for a moment.
So you flipped it. You got it on the top, right?
Yeah.
He gets in, but at some point you flip it over, so the zipper is on the bottom.
Well, it was just kind of how I was moving it around, and it ended up kind of flopping, so.
It was upside down.
Yes.
So after you did that, what did you do?
That's when I went over and decided to videotape to just see the, I guess, the jest in it for him to understand that right now I feel safe, and right now I have the ability to actually speak to you in a manner that normally I would not have the ability to do.
Uh-huh.
And you were intoxicated,
Yes,
and you would agree that you said some things you should not have,
yes.
but you realized he could not get out and get at you. Is that fair?
At that moment, yes.
So it goes on for about 10 minutes.
Yes,
You heard it here today, did you not?
yes,
You heard his voice as he was speaking
Yeah.
from the suitcase.
yes,
Uh-huh.
That was his voice on the video and audio.
yes,
And you
Uh-huh.
heard your voice on the video and audio.
yes,
That was your voice.
yes,
All those things said by the man were said by George in that 2-minute video.
correct,
All the words said by the female were said by you in that 2-minute video.
correct,
Were you intending on showing him the video the next day?
yes.
At the time, or the next day, is it fair to say you don't even remember a videotape?
I do not.
So, from what you can tell from watching it, Did that refresh your memory about that event?
It did.
Hey, welcome, Raiders. Thank you for coming in.
Why did you say all that?
Why did you say those things? Uh-oh. Was there an objection? I think they're at meeting at the bench. Thank you, Raiders. Welcome, Biggin. I appreciate it, man. We're going through the recap of Ms. Boone's testimony, which I only heard snippets of it live, so I haven't been able to hear the whole thing. I had not heard the prosecution's cross at all, so I'm kind of interested to hear how they did. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate it. Hit that like button while you're here. Please subscribe.
Mr. Owens, you may proceed.
Okay.
All right, I'm talking about just the 2-minute video part that was recorded. Could you just tell the jury what you were feeling, what your feelings were at the time, and then explain that to the jury? You mentioned, you talked about it before. You said he was in that confined space and it was my chance, but do you want to elaborate on that? Or?
Sure. I want you all to know that the majority of the time, am always afraid and always scared.
All right, well, I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. But,
That was said so matter of fact. Oh my God, not even pretending a hint of emotion. Goodness.
Fair to say that you had some anger at that point.
I did.
Would it be fair to say that you wanted to tell him off to some degree?
I just wanted, yes, for him to have a better understanding, which was the whole point of the videos and documentation prior.
Oh, yeah?
And you could tell that he was uncomfortable.
I'm guessing.
And did you want him to feel some uncomfort?
I did.
Okay. Now, at some point, you turned off the video.
Yes.
And then we saw a second video, which was approximately 11 minutes later. And you've seen that video that was played to the jury. It was
This is
22
from
seconds
yesterday.
long.
Yes.
And I don't think you speak in that video. You hear George say Sarah one time.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So between the 2-minute video and the 22-second video is an 11-minute period. Would you tell the jury what happened?
I think.
We continue to, I guess, speak to one another, and
Yeah, I
his
think it is
tone
yesterday.
changed, and I knew the tone, and we ended up, I guess, arguing back and forth with one another, and
While he was stuck in the suitcase? Wait. Hold on a second. Hang on a second. Is she going to argue that because he started to sound pissed because she wouldn't open up the suitcase for him sounding pissed made her scared, and therefore that's why she wouldn't open it up? Is that where we're going with this? Is that going to be her argument?
it was the things that he was saying very much frightened me, and cursing at me and threatening me, and
Did he want you to let him out of the suitcase?
I'm sure so.
Go ahead, tell me.
And it just got It got very heated very quickly, and he continued to push on the suitcase. And
shit.
My fear was that he was going to break out of the suitcase, knowing that it was a broken suitcase. And his hand started to come through. His hand started to come through this way. And so I shook the suitcase. Trying to get his hand to go back in, shaking it, and telling him that, please stop doing this. Please stop doing this to me. Please stop doing this to me.
God.
So his hand actually got out of the suitcase?
Yes.
And you went to the suitcase?
Yes.
And shook it?
Yes.
Did that force his hand to go back in?
No.
So you're shaking it. Were you shaking it to try to get the suitcase, his hand back in?
Yes.
How long did you shake it?
I don't know.
But his hand was still out?
Yes.
Was he trying to get out?
Forcefully, yes.
Was he angry at you?
Yes.
Yes! Who wouldn't be angry? Who wouldn't be trying to get out? Who wouldn't be angry? What the f-
Were you in fear?
Always.
If he would have gotten out of the suitcase, what would he have done to you?
Like he used to tell me, he probably would have made me unrecognizable, or I would have lost my life.
Did you lose the grip on the suitcase?
Yes.
Where was the bat in relation to the suitcase?
It was leaning up against the dining room table, right there.
How far was the bat from the suitcase?
3 feet, 2 feet?
Was his hand still out of the suitcase?
Yes.
And was he getting out of the suitcase?
He very much was trying, yes.
And so what did you do?
For the split-second reaction that I had, I happened to see that, and I grabbed the baseball bat and was trying to poke his hand to go back in, to please don't break through, please. So I
I'll be right back. All right. I've collected myself. All right, let's go.
I hit his hand.
Did you hit the outside part of his hand?
Yes.
We've seen the photographs of his left hand. Did you cause the bruising there?
I'm guessing yes.
Now, you've seen the bat. It's a used bat.
Yes, I bought it for my son.
Is this the bat you used?
Yes.
And you said you poked him with it?
Yes, I kind of pushed, like I held it with the skinny part here, and then
So grip here.
prodded at it, yes.
You grabbed it with both hands here.
Yes.
And then the barrel of the bat, the big part of the bat is here.
Correct.
And you thrusted it into the different areas of the suitcase?
I started with his hand, and his hand, he was still trying to get out. He was still.
I cannot believe she's testifying to this. She's admitting that she's smacking him with a baseball bat to prevent him from getting out. Oh my God.
Trying to do that, so I started to push on the suitcase around it, hoping to have his hand retract and go back inside.
You made those injuries.
I did,
We've seen the photographs.
yes,
We see the bruising. Is that from that bat?
yes.
Eventually, did his hand go back inside from you doing?
Yes, finally, he had subsided and retracted his hand.
So in your mind, did you prevent him from attacking you?
Absolutely. Split-second decision.
Now, once he retracted his hand, did you...
Attacking with one hand out of him instead of a suitcase? You were afraid of him attacking? What is happening?
Do you remember zipping it up some, or what did you do in relation? Because he was upside down, was he not, at that point?
Yes.
At some point, you flipped him back up.
I did.
Tell us how that happened.
He wasn't cursing. He wasn't threatening. His hand was inside foremost. There was no more of him trying to break through the suitcase. So I felt safe enough to turn it back over. It wasn't happening anymore.
Funny how, like, didn't she claim, like, complete amnesia in the initial interrogations, in the initial interviews? That she was, like, so blackout drunk she had no idea what happened? Or was that, like, a fever dream?
You went back to the video and the couch,
I did, yes.
and we saw the second video,
Yes.
the 22-second, and he's right side up again. And you
First
hear
thing
him say,
anything for the
"Sarah?"
26th month.
Yes.
Had you left enough room for him to get out? Zipper to zipper.
Yes, that's how his hand was trying.
That suitcase has two zippers, doesn't it? And they meet at various places along the line?
Correct.
How much room, when you flipped it over, how much room was between zipper to zipper?
I don't know specifically. I mean, it was enough to where his hand was coming out.
After you had hit him with the bat, was he not trying to get out anymore?
No.
Did you believe that he could breathe in there?
Yes.
Did you ever believe he could die in there?
No. At all.
Were you trying to kill him?
Never.
Did you want to kill him?
I did not.
Did you walk upstairs?
I did, yes.
Why didn't you let him out before you walked upstairs? Were you afraid?
Terrified is more of the word.
As long as he was in the suitcase, he couldn't harm you.
He's the one likely dying of asphyxiation, but you're the one who's terrified.
When he... Did you want him to calm down?
Yes, I wanted him to stop being angry because I know what it is for him to be angry.
You went upstairs. Where were the dogs?
The dogs ran upstairs with me.
And where did they go?
On the bed.
Did you have the phone with you?
Yes,
I know at some point you called your husband Brian, did you not?
I did.
Do you recall how long that conversation was?
Not very long.
Also, real quick,
Can you...
I'm not going to show the videos, but from what I recall the videos, he sounded more like he was pleading, rather than in an angry, threatening manner, calling her out. He sounded more like he was pleading to her, but whatever.
Recall what was said?
I don't remember exactly. No, I don't.
Deadpool, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Yeah, self-defense.
Miss Boone, Sarah Boone, you said that when he was in the suitcase, he was threatening her, threatening you. Can you tell the jury what he was saying?
Robert Cass, thank you for the $2 super chat. Much appreciated.
I don't know. Am I allowed to curse?
Yes.
Yes.
But he was going to fucking end me. And that's what made me ask him please to stop doing what he's doing to me. That he was going to, I'm guessing, try his best that night to probably take my life.
But what, the threat you heard was he's
going to
say the
fucking
word.
end me.
Excuse me?
Fucking end me.
End you?
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Judge, can we approach your bench?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, members of the jury, it is 2:14. I have a matter that I have to discuss with counsel at this point in time outside of your presence. So I'm going to ask you to retire to the deliberation room. We'll bring you back in as promptly as possible. Again, similar instruction that I've given you. Please do not conduct any independent discussion.
Pretty close to what we already knew from the deposition testimony, from the doctors relaying what she said for the proffer. What we have here is testimony from the defendant. Her timeline is she comes downstairs after having gone up to the shower and hiding, laying down, after being declared to be it. She comes back downstairs, and before she gets back to the bottom of the stairwell, she can see that the victim is in the suitcase trying to get flat because the lid is flopping, and he's not hidden just yet. And so she comes over, and I believe she testified she was moving it around before actually zipping the lid shut, but moving it around, everybody's laughing, it's all fun and games still, and then she zips it, and it's still fun and games, and everybody's laughing. And then at this point, she testifies that this is now her opportunity to get on her pulpit to express her true feelings about everything. And that's when she sits down on the couch and opens up her phone device and begins recording what later turns out to be IMG _1062.movie at 11:12:45 for 2 minutes and 3 seconds. During this period of time, the decedent is expressing meekly that he can't breathe. The only time he ever curses at her is, "Sarah, I can't fucking breathe. Babe, I can't fucking breathe." He is demonstrating under the law that he is in fear of losing his life. She has committed an aggravated assault. She has committed false imprisonment. She was the initial aggressor. There was no overt act.
Vicky, thank you for the $2 super chat. I would, but I'm not using
Then goes on to say that
YouTube.
during this period of time between the end of the movie,
I'm not watching with YouTube chat.
Seconds, and
For the
before
love
the
of
next
God.
one starts at 11:23.
I'll get it
that
to
it's
you when I
now
get
this
it to you.
time, while he's still constrained and clearly unable to get out under his own power despite having his hand out, she begins beating him with a bat, poking his hands, poking the suitcase with a deadly weapon. A bat is used for baseball, but it can also be used to harm another person. And according to the medical examiner's testimony, there was great harm caused to him, deep ecchymosis bruises. She can't start to do this out of fear, like the analogy I gave earlier. If I pull a gun to rob you, Judge, and you pull a gun, I can't shoot you in self-defense. She started this.
Exactly.
She started this. There was no overt act, and therefore, we're asking for you to prevent, under the case law, any prior instances of violence.
You can't claim self-defense if you're the instigating actor.
Any reputation evidence and any battered spouse syndrome evidence, because that's simply just what the case ended up being. Thank you.
Response.
Judge, this was a game by two intoxicated people. When people are drunk and intoxicated, they do silly and stupid things. The evidence is uncontroverted that George Torres willingly, by his own choice, elected to hide in the suitcase. By their interaction between the two of them, giggling and laughing at each other, he consented to her zipping up the suitcase. And the playful nature of what was going on during those few minutes prior to the video. When the video is turned on, there's a 2-minute period where they're talking. He's saying, "I need to get out, I can't breathe." She's not taking him seriously. As you've seen from the videos, I thought it was the boy crying wolf. She did not appreciate the fact that he could be actually having trouble breathing. And this was a chance for him to be heard by her about how she felt about some things involving their relationship. A short time later, the video was turned off, and then that period has been testified to by my client. And that period is uncontroverted. That's a second period of time. We've got that time for the video. We got the 11 minutes. We got the 22 seconds. And there's no video, there's no audio, there's no eyewitness, there's nothing but Sarah Boone's testimony. And she's testified here today that they had words, there were threats, He got his hand out of the suitcase. She knew by the threats and him getting his hand out of the suitcase that he was about to get out of the suitcase and he was going to hurt her. A reasonable person under that scenario would believe she was about to be harmed. She was an imminent threat of harm.
Oh my God!
She started poking.
I know, it's his job. This is his job. Please, this is his job.
Him, hand inside the suit. She flipped him over right side out. That is an overt. And this couple of years is.
Wait, is this all the? Wait, this is all the direct. Where's the cross?
Choking. Made while he had his hand out, and based on the threats he made while he had his hand inside just before she went upstairs.
Thank you. Court's going to re-review all the case law that it's obtained in its research in this matter.
Hold on, where's the cross? Mm. Mm. Where? I don't have anything from the. That was major. Where is it? Is this it?
You had called your ex-husband?
Yes.
All right. After you called your ex-husband, what happened after that?
Oh, this is still the direct. Hold on.
PR and
yeah,
and trying to work, and a lot of the times
okay.
he would.
Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. What's this?
Objections?
By George Torrens?
Yes.
Are those photographs a fair and accurate depiction of the injuries?
Oh, so these are injuries she allegedly sustained before her boyfriend died.
Were they caused by George Torrens?
Yes.
And during the same incident, is this you?
Yes.
Is that an injury or bruise to your ribcage area?
Yes.
And your arm?
Yes.
I'll show you identification. Identification Q. See if you recognize that photograph.
Yes.
Is that your thigh?
Yes.
Okay. You remember this incident?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what happened?
I wanted to take my dogs for a walk and get off of the back porch.
Were y'all drinking?
Yes. And he was upset that I would rather go walk my dogs than sit there and continue to drink. So he slapped my thigh as hard as he possibly could and said that you're not going anywhere. And it was a good smack on my thigh.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the wound that you suffered as a result of George?
So the rest of this is testimony is
Judge, I'd like to offer
her and like
pre-marked as Q
other
will be
photos
received into evidence
of
without objection as
injuries she
defense free.
sustained from him. Ooh, that's a nasty black eye. So there's a lot of abuse against her.
You may, sir.
The problem that so it's going to so obviously the play here is they're going to say battered woman syndrome as an explanation. The problem with that is he's in a fucking suitcase. And we see in the video of him not sounding angry or irate, although I would excuse that given the circumstances, but he's pleading for her to let him out.
This is in the kitchen at Brian's house.
Okay, what happened there?
Why'd you lie to the police?
You heard the testimony of the two neighbors, the boys that live next to you,
Yes.
and you heard that they were actually questioned. I think the audio, they were audio interviewed. You heard from Detective Copsel. I think it was a couple of days later on the 25th of February, or 27th of February.
Yes.
And you heard their testimony earlier this week,
Yes.
where they hear a kind of a thumping sound starting at the top of the steps, ending at the bottom.
Yes.
Have they got the night wrong?
Yes.
Explain to the jury that.
So it was the night before. Again, I was sleeping, and in the middle of the night with the door barricaded, he came in and ripped me out of the bed. And first got me with one hand, and then both hands and pulled me completely off of the bed. And then, like a caveman, had my...
And
so she's claiming, I guess, the night before he abused her.
Investigated.
Yes.
And both of you were arrested.
Correct.
Do you recall asking the officer when you were arrested, why am I being arrested?
Many times, yes.
You recall asking the officer, why am I being arrested?
Yes.
And do you recall making any other statements to law enforcement as to why you did what you did to George?
That was the first time ever that I actually officially fought back.
Did you tell the officer that you were fighting back?
Yes, because I was completely shocked that I was getting arrested because of it.
Now, on the 2-minute video, the suitcase video, you mentioned to him, I think you said something, I can't breathe. He said, I can't breathe, and you said, that's how I feel when you're choking me. Were you referring to an isolated incident of the night before, 2 nights before, or whatever, or were you referring to in general?
In general, the more than 2 or 3, 4 times that he had done it.
Okay. And then the part about cheating, he didn't physically cheat on you.
No, he did not.
Okay. And just, I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but what are you referring to there?
George was, I believe, addicted to pornography, and a lot of that would be found on my phone from him supposedly wanting to call about job interviews. And as a solution, I sat him down and I explained to him, to me, that's you visualizing yourself with someone else, or at least having a pleasurable moment with someone else or watching other people. And to me, I told him that I considered that cheating on me.
Okay. And so he would download that on your phone?
Yes.
Okay.
Why did you stay with him?
As,
You got to tell the jury.
as anyone who has ever been in love, or when you love someone, or primarily someone or something, you go above and beyond, and you tolerate and you endure and you persevere, and you try to make that person as spectacular as you possibly can, no matter the sacrifice that you may have to go through to serve someone else in a positive light so they can be better people for themselves, and to just make them a happier person. And love is very strong, and love is very deep, and love, I believe, is not fully understood in a lot of ways for how different people react to it. And I very much, deeply, and passionately love George. I love him to this day.
Did you?
But that's also part of the problem. That kind of goes into that doesn't necessarily go in your favor.
Not want to be alone?
Beginning through my divorce, it was very nice to have him around, and he was a man to me, and I felt protected, and he's very nice, and as lame as it sounds, he used to compliment me, and it made my day. So yes.
During that period of time, when you first started seeing George, would it be fair to say that you had low self-esteem?
Yes.
Now, we talked about this previous arrest where you told the officer you were fighting back and you got arrested. Now, I want to talk about your conversations with law enforcement. But first, I want to ask you, why did you go to the police station that day when you were interrogated there and saw the 2-hour video? Tell the jury.
The day of the incident, the detective Copsell gave me her business card with her personal cell phone number on it and said if I happened to remember anything or anything that I would like to add to the day for me to not hesitate to give her a call. So throughout the rest of the evening, something was off. I didn't feel comfortable with what she told me and how she told it to me.
How long were you at the scene?
Gosh, all day, from the moment that they were there to the moment that the coroner's van drove off.
All right, when it ended, did you stay in your home?
No, I raced inside and collected some pajamas and a toothbrush, and I went over to where my son was at my ex-husband's house.
Did you take the dogs?
I didn't even feed them. It was so fast.
All right, and then once you got over to your ex-husband's, what happened? Is it released to Detective Copsell?
I mean, my
Something
take
just
is
wasn't
that.
sitting right with me.
I mean, my take is it's kind of obvious that both of them were abusive towards each other. It's just that she was the one who took it to the next level,
And
or at least she
I had
got
a suspicion
there
that she just
first.
wasn't being honest with me, so I took it upon myself.
Sustained.
So you called her. Tell us about that.
I have no
I
idea,
called
Marty.
her and I told her that I felt that she was being dishonest with me. She originally had told me that due to her being pregnant, it would just be a lot easier for her to have me come down to the station to pick up my phone. The original plan was for she and Detective Logan to return the phone to my apartment. But she said that it would be a lot easier for me to just come down and pick it up because I remember when I was pregnant. That's what she said. You remember when you were pregnant. So I said, I feel that you're tricking me, and I feel that you're being very sneaky about something, and I don't believe that you're being honest with me. And I said, regardless, I'm still going to come.
Sustained.
So you agreed to come, but you understood it was to get your phone?
Correct.
All right. Man, we got 30 minutes left. See how far we can get. In the cross. All right, here we go.
So would you agree that this is one of the 3 bottles that was purchased between February 22nd and the 2 that were purchased on February 23rd of 2020?
I'm guessing it was like the bottle, yes.
All right, and it's 1.5 liters. Would you agree? And when you say half, are we talking about to the top of the label was left from the day before?
Oh, goodness, no.
All right, a little less, halfway through the label?
Right about.
Okay, about halfway through the label. So in addition to halfway through the label, which you began consuming after going public at about 12:15, correct? You all would have began consuming around 12:30, is it fair to say, when you got back?
I can't tell exactly.
Okay. And after finishing what you all had left over from Saturday, the 2 of you consumed 2 1.5 liter bottles, correct?
I'm not sure about the second bottle that he purchased, if it was empty or not at the time.
Well, you did mention that the police would find 2 empty bottles in the top of your trash, correct?
Yes.
And we did all see that in the photographs, correct?
See that
Two.
they empty the garbage, yes.
All right, and you say you were about 100 pounds at the time? And we all know Mr. Torres was 103 pounds at the time of his death, correct?
That's what I said.
All right, so that's 3 liters of wine between 200 pounds split between 2 people over the course of a day, correct?
Damn.
Yes.
And you testified today that you were intoxicated at the time that this occurred the videos between 11 and 11:30 at night, correct?
Yes, at some level, yes.
Now, what does that mean to you? Previously, have you indicated that that means the room is spinning? Do you ever recall saying that?
I do.
So what was your level of intoxication at this point in time when the first video was filmed at 11:12 p.m.?
Do you mean from lack of sleep or alcohol?
From the alcohol.
What was my level?
What were you feeling? Did you have trouble with your balance?
I was more tired than anything.
Did you have trouble with your balance?
I don't believe so.
So you were able to flip a suitcase over with a 100-pound man in it, right?
Oh boy, here we go.
Yes, it happened.
Okay. How about your speech? Do you feel like your speech was slurred?
Clearly.
How about your inhibitions? Do you feel like you were doing things that you wouldn't do when you were sober?
I wasn't thinking about that.
Well, on reflection, do you feel like this is something you would have done when you were sober?
I didn't know me and George.
I'm just asking you, looking back on this, when he's in the suitcase and you're telling him how you feel, and then you wait 11 minutes and you film another 22 seconds, and then you go upstairs, upon reflection, is that something you would have done and left him in there had you not been drinking?
I don't know. I can't say.
Okay.
If I was scared, then it would be something.
All right. Now, today you testified about the time frame between the two videos, correct?
Yes.
So you came down from the shower where you were hiding, correct?
Yes.
And as you're coming down the stairs, before you even get to the bottom of the stairs, you can kind of see over your shoulder or towards your right that he's trying to hide in the suitcase, correct?
Yes.
And the lid is down, but it's not closed, and you can tell he's hiding in there. It's not a great hiding spot just yet, right?
Correct.
And so you come over to him, and you're laughing, right?
Yes.
And you move the
All fun and
suitcase
games.
around some before zipping it shut, right?
No.
No? You immediately zip it shut?
Yes.
Okay. And you're both still laughing about it, correct?
Correct.
All right. And then it's during this course of time, how quickly is it after you zip it shut that you begin filming the first video?
I don't know without watching it. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, the video's not going to catch you zipping him up because you're like 10 feet away, right? How quickly after you zip him up is it before the video starts, is my question.
I don't know.
Okay.
Hey, Devin.
And then during that 9 minutes and 14 seconds is when he begins to get angry, correct?
What, 9 minutes?
Between the two videos, there's 9 minutes and 14 seconds between the end of 1061 and the beginning of 1062 and 1063. So you got the 2-minute, 3-second video that starts at 11:12:45, correct?
I guess.
Permission to use state 17?
You may.
I mean, the prosecutor's going to point out, like, it's interesting that you, in both videos, you don't catch him in an angered state. You catch him more of a, please, for the love of God, get me out of here state.
All right, so we're looking at entry 31107. That indicates, according to the phone extraction, 2/23/2020, 11:12:45 p.m. Image underscore 1062 movie begins being captured. And we have seen that that is about 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Entry 31113 indicates that image underscore 1063.move.
We lost it. What is this, an arty stream? Come on, get it together. Fellow professionals.
I was disconnected.
Well, whoops. Our bad. Video ends. All right. Oh, I'm curious about this. Oh, so she actually does a demonstration. Interesting. This is awkward. There we go.
All right. Ms. Boone, can you demonstrate for the jury where Mr. Torres' head was and how his body was positioned in the suitcase?
Remember, this is the prosecution. This is their cross.
Don't mind.
His back was this way and his head was here.
All right, and then is it fair to say his feet are kind of down here, which would be the front left corner from their perspective in the jury box?
Yes.
And then his knees are kind of tucked up towards his face.
If I remember correctly, yes, that's the position.
Okay. All right. Can you help me understand how it was that your zip is shut? Can you show us where you say he left an opening that his hand got out of?
Would it be easier to put it down here?
I didn't want to make you go down there. If you're happy doing that, I'll let you. Hold up. Does she need to be wearing gloves? Yes.
Agreed. If she's going to be manipulating it.
Yes. Obviously, she needs to have gloves.
This side.
Just paperclip was on when this event occurred. Just paperclip was on when this event occurred. When we pulled the suitcase out earlier, the paperclip was not attached. So now the prosecutor's attached the paperclip. We don't know if that's the way it was attached.
It's not even a paperclip.
We don't know if that's the proper way that it was attached. But he's asking her now to pull.
Is there an objection?
Yes?
Approach.
She's like, yeah. So it sounds like, I guess they're trying to get her to put, zip it up, but I think they said that the the little thingamabobs are not there, so they're using a paper clip to get her to zip it up. I don't know. It's weird.
If it was comfortable, sir.
Objections overruled.
All right.
If it was comfortable, sir.
Madam Court, are you ready? Can we see how it was that the two zipper parts were positioned when you say that Mr. Torres was able to get his hand out? If you want me to do it, I'm fine. I'll take your direction.
From what I remember, this is how the suitcase. This is how the suitcase works. This was up here. This was not this hard either.
Oh yeah.
This was like here.
Okay.
Right here.
About right there, ma'am?
Sure.
I assume this one was much closer? It's not over there? Where'd you...
You asked me where I zipped it.
When you say that it was zipped shut, show us.
Are you talking about how I zipped it, or?
When you're done zipping it shut and he's inside of it, where are the zipper components?
So he's trying to get her to place where were the zippers at before she zipped it fully.
Just tell me what it's at.
I mean, it was the corner. I mean, the corner was cut open. I mean, it's not. Yes, this one was already pretty much. Yes. From what I can remember, that's how he was coming with his hand out.
So she's saying that there's only this much of open space before she, I guess, rushed up and zipped it up.
It was like this from the corner part.
Okay. Thank you. You can return your seat. Did you ever change the position of those zippers once you put it in that position?
I did not.
And so once he was zipped into there, there's some amount of time, but you don't remember specifically before you start taking the 2-minute video, correct?
Yes.
And then that's when you say what you say, and that's when he says what he says. We've all heard it, correct? And then between there and that second video of the 22 seconds length, it's at this point where he's beginning to get angry, and then that's when you take the baseball bat that's in evidence, and your testimony is to start poking him with the end of it.
Did you say this was the second video?
Between the two videos, that's when you started hitting with the bat because he was getting angry and trying to escape, correct?
Right, I was not hitting him, I was, yes.
Okay. Did you ever hit him with the bat while he was outside of the suitcase?
No.
So each time that he is hit with the bat, it's through this suitcase. And that's what leaves the marks on him because you didn't hit him with the bat outside the suitcase, correct?
Yes, may I demonstrate?
No, that's okay. The suitcase will speak for itself. And then you take the second video and you go upstairs and go to bed, correct?
I apparently went upstairs and I used the phone to make a phone call.
Okay.
And then I fell asleep.
All right.
God! No!
Ms. Boone, he just asked you the question that you poked him, and you didn't poke him. You poked, every time you poked him hard with the bat, he was inside the briefcase.
The suitcase, yes.
The suitcase. But you remember when he put his hand out, did you not hit him in the hand outside the suitcase?
Yes.
Okay. So that was the only time the bat touched Mr. Torres's body outside the suitcase.
Yes.
Was when you hit him with a hand. But all the other injuries were with you poking him pretty hard. I mean, you bruised your hand, correct? Doing that. Thank you.
Ma'am, you can return to counsel's table.
I don't know what the hell she was thinking that was going to make her look any kind of good, or that the prosecution was not going to obliterate any narrative she was cooking. All right, so apparently this is a big this was a big reveal in today about this video of George smashing things up.
Judge, we're going to play Exhibit 17 first.
You may proceed.
And is there a volume? Judge, do you have control of volume?
Volume is on.
You're gonna help me take this shit out. Real shit. You're gonna help me take it out. You're gonna help me take this shit out.
Already got one hit right there.
That's bad, I want to.
Okay. Next. Damn! So they're both violent psychopaths.
Say again, sir. Yes, understood.
Fair time, right? No cross.
All right, thank you very much. This witness can't be released. Or using a computer, cell phone, the internet, browse, or even you face related to them, including posting information on an internet website, chat room, or blog. With that, members of the jury, I'm going to ask you to return here to 12 Alpha at 12:50, and we'll pick up shortly thereafter. Thank you so much for your service.
I will say, okay. I think, again, the only way they're using this is trying to establish his violent nature for her battered woman syndrome defense. I don't think is going to really work, given the absolute torching of her credibility this entire time. I actually do appreciate the judge. The judge is very, very thorough in maintaining a record, which I absolutely appreciate. And he's efficient. I would say very, very efficient. So I do appreciate this judge here. I think it was both their TVs. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person in terms of the context of what was going on. We just see him smashing up a TV that presumably was theirs. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna call it here, babe. We're gonna call it here, babies. Speaking of babies, I don't know, my babies aren't here. But I appreciate you guys coming in to watch. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Probably no stream tomorrow, other than maybe a spooky stream with Alan Wake, the Alan Wake DLC, since that just dropped. So I look forward to that tomorrow, and then we'll be back on this channel on Friday. Okay. Always appreciate it. Check out the Discord. Hit that like button on your way out, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Appreciate it. All of you, with your generosity as well. Take care.